gang? FLX Beer Reviews back with yet again another episode of As the Beer Swirls StreamYard edition. My name's Dan.
And I'm the nature troll, average Joe, baby.
The Beer Patrol.
Beer Patrol, baby. Understand it. Friday night. Not really Friday night, but another strap match.
So Mike, Mike's a little busy. He's got some things going on. And me and Joe, we were talking and really wanted to sit down and do some duo reviews. We have not done that in a very, very long time.
Just us two. Just hanging
Just
out.
like less than 5 minutes ago. Anyways, so we are taking a look at a beer from the Fidens Brewing Company, located out of Albany, New York, but it's a really Colonie, New York?
Colonie,
Is that,
Colonie.
Yeah, Colonie. So this is their Rose. This is a double IPA coming at 8.2 ABV, and this is got Citra and Galaxy in it. So this was canned on 9/13, which just puts it about six and a half weeks old, encroaching 7. So this is kind of like a little science experiment.
It's the oldest Fidens beer I've had.
I want to see
the
oldest I had.
Yeah.
So Fidens has a tendency to release very green in some situations.
Yeah.
And us and our schedules just kind of, it worked out to where we can try one that's got some time on it and really see what's happened to it. So
I agree.
Full transparency, I've had this one. I bought in 2 cans of it, and I drank one while it was really fresh.
Okay. I have not had this at all.
Okay.
So, yeah, that has. So yours looks a little bit more appropriate. Mine looks like orange, like your camera. It's like orange, like watered down orange juice, or like 50 calorie orange juice a little bit. Like it looks like on your camera. Like that's what it kind of looks like to me.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But I know it's thick and murky because I can see in person. Yeah,
it's OJ all day.
Yeah, for sure. Finger of like an off-white head, very creamy looking.
Yeah,
plays the role.
Hashtag proper glassware too.
Double times 2.
It's a girl. It's a boy.
I see what you did. Let's.
Hey,
dude, it's fucking almost 7 weeks old. Still smells pretty fucking killer.
Wow, that smells like orange juice.
Dude, it smells like orange juice and like pineapple, like crushed pineapple to me, like that mixture.
I'll tell you what. I am getting a bit of that crackery undertone.
Yeah, there's a little bit of
the wheat malt.
Yep. Yeah, I can see that for sure. Yeah, a little crackery, maybe a touch biscuity.
And I'll tell you, from what I remember, because I really just drank the other one to enjoy it. I didn't really deep dive. I just kind of open it and whatever. It's definitely changed.
Okay. What do you remember fresh in the nose compared to what it was?
Right. It's not.
Well, I'm saying, what is the difference? Okay, you're not getting the burn. Okay.
And it almost came off more confectionery, like confectionery sweetness when it was very fresh.
Yeah, this is a lot of orange tangerine, that kind of citrus realm for sure, like juice. Then I'm getting a little bit of that crushed pineapple, almost like one of those fruit cups you get where a lot of times it's like peach, it can be oranges and pineapple. Just give me the oranges and pineapple out of that fruit cup.
And it's got like the one cherry in it.
Yeah, you're like, what is that doing there? Hang on, I'm eating it now because it's delicious. Yeah, no, this smells fucking. This, if you would, and again, we're acting like 6.5 weeks old is the end of the world, but from what we're saying is we drink a lot of the Fidens 3 to 4 weeks old because that's kind of where the hot burn starts dying out and still quite fresh. This is almost 2 months old, and this smells like a 2-week-old beer to me. Like it's still very vibrant and boisterous. It's hitting the nostrils, and you're like, yeah, that's just hop goodness for sure.
Right on the back end of the nose, I'm getting this very bright kind of vinous kind of thing going on. It's not overtly present, but it's there. There's just a touch of like tomato plant stalk.
Okay,
like fresh smell of tomato.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. For me, I'm getting like this floral honey kind of note.
Okay. I definitely get the honey. I was
trying to pinpoint it. I'm like, it has this floral tone, but I'm like, there's this honey sweetness, but it's not like super pronounced and like like in your face, but like it's there. It's a nuance.
Yeah.
Yeah, it smells quite complex, quite delicious. It's a Fidens beer. I'm sure it's going to be tasty.
Let's hope this doesn't set the precedence of, all right, we got a Fidens beer. Let's wait 2 months before we drink it.
Yeah, I'll pour it right
Cheers.
now. I'm not even trying this. Cheers, Dan. Thanks for letting me on your channel again. Pretty fucking good. I mean, it's pretty good.
That's delicious.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm wondering, I got some stuff in some can. The only thing for me, it's coming off a bit thin.
Yeah, it is. I the body itself, when I was taking that sip, I'm like, I thought to myself, what is the ABV? Because I forgot it was 8.2, right? 8.2? Yeah, it's not drinking necessarily like a big double IPA from the body.
All right, pour the rest in. Save some for later. It doesn't have that classic kind of milky, dense Fidens kind of.
And it has the look of it, though.
It has the look of it, but it's not downing like that. The mouthfeel is still nice and airy and smooth, but that body is just kind of lacking. Let's see if I pour it in. It helped.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Definitely
That's I would have said it was like medium body at best before we poured it. Now it's like higher side of medium, lower side of full. And it has more of a substantial, like creamy, smooth kind of feeling too. Still very carbonated, but it's very smooth and creamy on the when you take that when you swallow it and you're like, man, that's kind of creamy.
I will say I didn't get it on the nose, but on the back end, this is a very drying beer for me.
And it has a decent bitter kind of punch. It's not like overwhelming, but it balances everything out quite well. What I love about it, and I don't know if you're going to get it, so I'm just going to say it. I'm definitely getting like a honey kind of sweetness on the palate. Like I got it right at the end of the aroma, and now I'm tasting. I'm like, man, there is a underlying like honey sweetness kind of propping everything up. It's almost, I've mentioned this so many times in reviews on my channel before, but almost like a honey drizzled like orange and pineapple and like tangerine and peach, kind of like in that realm for me. Yeah, this is really good. I would never guess that this is almost 7 weeks old, like at all.
Yeah, you definitely wouldn't. And here's the other thing about these Fidens beers. When I drink them, I feel like there's such a saturation of hops in each beer. Like, I really feel like you're drinking is like it's like hop candy.
Yeah, it really is. Yep, it's you get that's the good thing about these beers. The bad thing, like because they saturate with so much hops in general, and like you get that burn early on. They can last. The problem is if you buy them and you want to drink them right away, you're kind of fucked sometimes, you know. But if you let them sit for 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks, this is the type of stuff that it turns into a very delicious double IPA, plain and simple.
I wish I had a third can just to test the limits and see where this sucker breaks.
That would be a cool experience from doing a review of a beer from a certain brewery that produces hot burn like Fidens, to like drink one super fresh. Maybe get like a 4-pack of it and drink one like every 3 to 4 weeks. So like you get it super fresh, drink it a month old, 2 months old, 3 months old, just see how it progresses, like people do with Heady, right? I would say, this is what I'll say, this is not exact science or anything, but I think if this will probably last another, at the very least, probably 3 to 4. Like I'd imagine 2.5 months old, this will still be drinking well. Like I can't imagine it falling off that quickly. Like this is great.
Dude, this is so juicy.
Dude, the tip of my tongue, it's almost like I drank orange juice, or like I bit into a juicy orange. I get a very slight acidic kind of just like orange juice feel to it right at the front of the palate. It's really juicy.
Yeah,
crazy.
And I tell you what, I'm even getting like you get your tropical fruits, so you get the orange, and we're getting that sensation. But then it's almost like that mix between like a passion fruit and mango, because that passion fruit, I sort of get that pop, like that tartness that I associate with the passion fruit.
Yeah, I can see that for sure. I love passion fruit. It's delicious.
Yeah, but it's definitely more orange, but it's got that on the back end.
Yeah, it's more orange. Like you said, mango, peach, some kind of stone fruits in there right after the orange. Like you said, passion fruit. I could definitely see that 100%. I'm not getting as much pineapple as I was in the nose was for me a lot of pineapple, but I'm not really getting it as much in the taste. That honey, I think, has kind of replaced the pineapple. Like it's cool. Even on the back of the palate, like I get a little bit of like you were talking tomato stock in the nose. I'm getting that like green vegetal thing, but not like a hop burn, just a green vegetal thing, in addition to like a floral essence on the back of the palate, which I think it's kind of then morphing into like that semi-dry, mild to moderate bitter kind of feeling, which balances it out, because this is a sweet and juicy beer up front, but it's not too sweet. Like at no point when I take a sip of this and I drink, I'm not fucking too sweet. No, like it's pretty balanced.
I would say the back end is, for me, it's now associating more with like, I've gone from that tomato stock thing to like a drying, like a bitter grass.
Yeah, like green
grassiness.
Green grassiness. I 100% on board with that. It's funny because you mentioned like how it was drying, and as I keep on sipping on it, the dryness is like building up a little bit more to each sip. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, this is fun.
But compounding that with each sip, I'm getting more and more. Boom! Here's a little citrus explosion on the tip of your tongue. Boom! Here's that tropical explosion.
That tip of the tongue, that acidic, juicy orange thing is fucking cool. I get that sometimes, like it's pretty rare, but it's like it's happened on a couple Hot Butcher beers, a couple other half beers. But like when I get it, I really like that because it's almost like your mind perceives like you're actually eating an orange or drinking orange juice when you're totally not.
You could associate that bitter drying aspect as the pith of that orange.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, like the whole feeling of this beer could just be an orange in different parts on the palate. Like, oh, I'm getting more of an orange juice, the flesh. Here I'm getting a zestiness. Here I'm getting a sweet orange peel. Here I'm getting the pith, the rind. Like, yeah, this is. And then
somebody snuck like a tangerine in the bag.
Only Tangelo, baby. Only a Tangelo. I'm glad we waited. Honestly, it was fun.
All right, Joe. Guest first. You got rating over there?
It's funny when I took a sip, I was like, "Yeah, this is good," and then you're like, "This is delicious." Like at first, I had a kind of a rating in mind, but as I continue to drink this, and the complexity and the in-depth flavors kind of hit me, from that acidic orange juice feel to like the floral to honey. This is fucking absolutely 100% delicious. This is one of the better Fidens beers I've had. It's probably not my favorite. I'm trying to think off the top of the head. There was one that really blew me away, but this is up there. So I'm gonna do my thing. Or no, let me do. Hang on. I'm gonna give Rose from Fidens a high 4.5. I'm gonna go 4.55. 4.55. All day long.
I want to say I checked this in on Untappd.
Let me go see if you did. I won't say anything, but let me go see if you did.
And I believe I'm probably going to rate this higher because it's kind of settled in. Or if not, I'm going to rate it the same.
Okay. Okay, I got it right here. Let's see. Let's see.
Right now, as it sits, I'm going to give it a 4.75. I want to say I gave it a 4.5 before, but I might have gave it a 4.75.
You gave it a 4.5, and your check-in, you said the late check-in, if you're going to drink a hazy, this has to check all the marks. So there you go. Very simplistic.
I still attest to that. Like,
I agree. Like, this is great. So I guess what's stopping it from getting a higher mark for me? I don't know. I feel like I've had one or two other Fidens beers from this batch that kind of did it more for me, and I think I give them like a 4.7, 4.65. So this isn't as good as those, but it's like when you start getting to this is a 4.75, this is a 4.7, this is a 4.55, like it doesn't fucking matter. Like,
it's marginal.
Yeah, when you hit 4.5 and above for me, it's like that beer is absolutely delicious, just to varying degrees, and this is awesome.
So we haven't released it, and I don't think by the time this makes it to air that
this will be the last one probably.
We will. Me and Mike will have released it, but we started out doing a beer review for a beer from Massachusetts from Treehouse.
Okay, I thought you were talking
and it evolved into something, and it turned into something me and Mike have been talking about for a long time, and that's just kind of doing a beer vlog, like where we literally sit here and just sit here and drink this whole thing and just talk about things and talk about life and sit there and enjoy it and talk about how the beer changes. I feel like we could easily do that with this beer if we wanted, just because it provides it keeps on getting more intense every time I take a sip of it.
It's honestly, this is what I'll maybe say about this beer. I mean, if you want to do that, I'm game. Like, I can talk. But this is one of those beers where you start breaking it down, but like every time you go back for a sip, something else hits you. And it's a deceptively, very sneaky crazy complex beer where I don't think I've had one from Fidens like this where like, you know, I continue to drink on it for whatever it is, the 20 minutes to finish it up. And I'm like, oh, something different. I mean, like each sip, I get something different, legit. And that's a cool experience, especially when it comes to a hazy. Like it's not something that usually hits you like that.
Yeah. And also, I will say this thing's a palate killer.
Oh, yeah. So,
like, by the time I'm done with this, I'm going to be like, woo, all right. It's like, undo the belt. You're just sitting there, oh, I'm good, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. But it's one of those beers that you're drinking on, so I'm like okay with it. Because I'm trying to enjoy. It's one of those dilemmas you have where like if you have a delicious plate of food in front of you, but you want to savor every single bite, so it takes you fucking an hour to eat that plate because you know once it's gone, it's gone. It's kind of with this beer. Like I want to just fucking chug it because it's delicious, but then I also don't want it to be gone because then it's fucking gone and I have no more cans. So, and I'll tell you what, I'll tell you this: I actually started a diet today. I'm going to start going strong on. And I allocated enough calories, hopefully, for the 2 beers. Right? Normally, I'd be like, "Man, this sucks. That this is delicious because I'm gonna have to pour this out because I can't deal with the cat. Fuck that. Drinking every single drop of this. I allocated it, so I'm drinking the fucking thing. You know what I mean?
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you got to.
I'm glad that the Trippy Treats Pops took the other half because that thing's probably like 500 calories, and I'm like, gee, I would have been fine drinking it, but like,
right
now I could drink the rest of this, and I'd rather have this.
How much different do you think you're? I mean, I know you've had to change because of your health issues, but how much different do you think you would approach beer if it was like a box of food and they had the nutritional facts on every can, like calories and all that?
I think it'd be well, I don't know if it'd change for me because I know how ridiculous calorie-wise some of these can be. Like, I mean, people talk about like heavily fruited sour, some of them are like 600, 700, 800 calories for a can. Like you're talking about like a meal for a single can. And I'm sure this at 8.2% with everything going on, this is probably like 400 calories. Like it probably is like 350, 400 easily, right? Maybe if it's in your face, like, you know, if you're saying like they're putting it like on the back, like a normal food label, I think you would probably be a little bit more conscious of what you're buying, especially when it comes to like, and I can't do this anymore, but I know you do and a lot of my beer chewing friends, because I was once like a beer, like a fridge beer. Like if you go buy a beer that's just in your fridge, if you bought that 12 pack of whatever it is and you looked at it and all of a sudden you're drinking Jack's Abbey Hellist or whatever, 5%, and you're like, oh, it's like 150 calories. Cool. Now, if you have that 7.5% IPA that's in your fridge and it's fucking 300 calories, you'd be like, oh, I'm probably going to go buy that Jack's Abbey. You know, I can't be having 7.3% fucking West Coast IPAs in my fridge. I think it would change from that aspect, but I think the key thing for me is moderation anyway. Like today I allocated 2. These are a little bit bigger, but again, I didn't drink the other one. So like I'm not having like a beer and a half, 2 beers max.
Right.
But I think the nutritional information should be on the fucking label personally. Like it should. There's no reason it shouldn't be.
Yeah. Along with lactose. I feel like everyone should kind of say, you know what, there's lactose in here. You know, there's a lot of people out there with, you know, they have allergens and some people stick to a diet of, you know, vegan, vegetarian, or whatever.
We have friends. We have friends that are vegans in the beer tubing community. And I feel bad. Like I know you gave one a lactose beer to one of our friends at Beer Palooza, and I've done the same thing to the same individual, right? Not thinking about that, and it's like these companies aren't thinking about it either. Like I understand, like a nut allergy can be life and death, and lactose not as much. But I'll tell you what, as somebody who is lactose intolerant, to some degree, like it doesn't buy, like if I go on fucking Beer Man show and I eat fucking like a thing, a half block of cheese, like it's over. But like if I drank like a couple beers that were very lactose heavy, 2-3 hours later, I'm feeling it, and it's not fun. So it should be. All the ingredients should be on the fucking label. Period. Doesn't matter. I don't care what brewery you are. I don't care what you're doing. We should have a right to know what's in a product that we're drinking. Period. So I get upset about that because especially like it's the same breweries too who have the ability to put like a date on the can, but instead they write something stupid like for Halloween they'll just write boo or like trick or treat or happy Halloween. You're like, where the fuck is the date? Like, well, I don't give a shit if you're telling me about a happy Halloween. That's cool. Just put a date. Oh no, there's no date. Cool. Thomas, and then it says keep cold drink fresh on the side, and I just want to punch everybody.
Yeah, there's almost that standard of if you have time to write something like that on there, then you have time to put a date on there. Like if you're not putting anything at all, I get it. Like a new brewery, like someone in the brewing industry had told me, I don't know if they're kind of blowing smoke up my, you know what, but they told me for a proper lot coder to add to the canning process, it's like a couple $1,000 like charge.
Okay. Yeah.
Like depending on how big your run is or whatever. So, for a small nano brewery, maybe they're like, we're only selling from the brewery. We can assure it's fresh. But the minute you start entering the realm outside the brewery, I really feel like you're playing with fire, but not including the information.
And again, especially when you have like the ability to do so, when you're posting stupid phrases on the bottom, or like it's like I think your consumers would much rather know how fresh their can is instead of saying Happy Halloween because it's October or whatever. There's a lot of crazy costs involved, but I feel it comes down to, as a brewery, if you care about your product, right? That's the type of thing, and you see that all over the place where breweries care about it. Some breweries will do the whole, and thankfully, I don't think Fidens is one of those breweries, right? They don't put keep cold, drink fresh on here. I like that. I love that places would keep their product cold if you're going to a beer store, and that I'd like to drink it fresh. But when you say that, and there's no way for me to find out when I'm in the store purchasing it, that is very upsetting. And it's even worse when that can is on a warm shelf. Because it's like, now you're 0 for 2 on what you're telling me. So why would I buy your product,
Oh, man.
EQ is one of those places. Like, we've given EQ shit lately in a bunch of live chats and, Trolling Ridge and whatnot.
Dates are very important. They are.
They are. They are.
I almost walked out of a store today. I picked up. Yes. I've been getting into these. My whole beer trip today just was out of control, folks. I had picked up a beer because I was going to review it with another beer tuber, and so I'm in the store.
Would you like to name that beer tuber? Would you like to name him?
Yeah, Bumpy Road Brews.
Yes.
If you're watching this half an hour, 45-minute long vlog or whatever, I don't care. We're just having a good time enjoying the beer. So I picked up. We were going to review a beer, and I picked it up, and I'm about halfway home. I look over, just glance. I'm at a red light. Look over. I see dust on the bottle. I'm like, okay. So I look at it closer. I'm like, son of a gun. It was a 2021 version of the beer. So I pulled into my local Wegmans, and I actually went in and I bought the 2022 version of that said beer. But I was just so angry. And it almost happened twice, sort of, because when I was in Wegmans, I said, well, I want to get like a mixed 12-pack of something to drink or whatever. So I'd actually picked up an Industrial Arts mixed wrench pack. Because I figured it's got the session one, it's got the triple, so whatever you're looking for in an IPA, you're going to have it. You're getting session, the regular, a West Coast, I think it had in it.
Yep. And then the double probably.
So I'm walking out, I'm just kind of trying. I got my beer, yay. And I was like, you know what? Was there a date on this box? I look, it was like July 27th. I turned right around. I put that sucker right back in the cooler because I'm not drinking an IPA from Wrench or Industrial Arts brewed in July. We're in the beginning of November. I don't have the confidence.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, there'll be people who'll be like, "Oh man, you can drink a 3." It's like, I get that, but why not go pick up a fresher pack of something else, or even the same thing, because it does exist. Right. It's one of those things where it's like, I'm not a date snob or anything, but when I'm in the beer store and I review beers on YouTube and I don't want to drink a beer that's 3.5 months old, fresh. Then you drink that and it's not great, and then you have people come to your channel and are like, you should drink that fresh. I'm like, I know, but I didn't look at the fucking date, so that doesn't mean.
And here's the thing with beers like this, the hazy IPAs. There's few companies where I'm comfortable drinking that old can because they have the reputation that it holds up. I don't know. I don't drink enough Industrial Arts to know if that's going to hold up or not.
Yeah. And was that in the cooler? Was that on the shelf too?
So the one I got was in the cooler, but right to the left of it was a stack of them outside the cooler. So it's like every time someone buys one, are you just taking it out from the warmer and putting it in the cooler?
Probably. That's probably what they're doing. And that's the unfortunate thing. It's like, I think people get so fixated on dates, which are important, but you also forget that, like, for hop forward beers, especially keeping it cold is a huge thing. If they had that on the floor for like 2 months and then just randomly put in the cooler, like that's not helping anything. But you don't know that. You're not going to walk around and be like, dude, this one I picked up was that on the floor for like 6 weeks? What? Like, you're not going to be that. Like, that's ridiculous to have to do that. But like, who? I don't know. It's unfortunate.
How's your palate doing? How's the beer doing as it's warmed? And
it's fucking like I think I've drank more. Have I consumed more than you at this point? No, we're about the same.
Yeah, we're about there. We're about
No. Every sip is it's a delight. It's.
I would say the only thing is it warms for me. It's getting a little sweeter.
Yeah, it is. It is. But what I think's cool about it is that it wasn't too sweet to begin with. So there's been those times where like I feel a beer leans a little bit sweet, like when you're reviewing it. But then as you continue to drink it off camera, you get to like the last 3 or 4 ounces. It like might be a little bit of a chore because this is definitely getting close to the point where it's cloying. That's not happening here, but now it leans sweet, whereas balanced before, now it's a bit sweeter.
Yeah, it's leaning a bit sweeter, but still that drying bitterness is still at the same level it was. So I think it's still negating that to a certain degree. Yeah, no, this is like 55-60% sweet. Leaning, you know what I mean? Just it's fucking delicious, though. It really is.
This is really good. I feel like maybe I've undersold it a bit now. Like as I drink on it, like this might be up. What was the fucking like? Let me go look the Fidens beer up that I went ape shit. Like I was the only guy, which is fine. I always love when like I go crazy over the beer.
Yeah,
like, I look it up and it's like 4.2 on it, or 4.02, and I'm like, what? The first beer I reviewed from this batch was their Impulse. So that was like their 7% IPA, dude. That was the best Fidens beer I've had to date. And then I look on it, I think it does. I mean, it gets a good rating because it's Fidens, right? But like a lot of Fidens ratings on Untappd are like 4.35, 4.4. This is a 4.29, so still really good, but like a little bit under. Like I think Rose is like 4.4, but this is close to that. Like I gave that like a 4.75, I think, or 4.7. This is not that far behind.
So I'm looking up real quick to see what my.
But you know what's funny?
Okay, so my highest rated one before I put this one in was Done Did It, which wasn't from the batch one we bought.
Okay.
But from the batch we bought, Rose and Illuminating Serenity was a really good one.
Yeah, I didn't grab that. That was it the Holy Trinity of hops, your Galaxy, Citra, Mosaic, or is that something else?
No, that's Citra+Galaxy and Strata. The Holy Trinity is actually heavy cut.
Okay. Yeah, I've never had heavy cut.
So, yeah, man, this is
so Impulse, dude. You had to have Impulse. Galaxy, Citra, and Motueka.
Yeah, I think I did.
I lost my shit on it. Like I loved that beer. Like it was so good. Let's see what you gave.
Yeah, I gave that a 4.5.
Okay, I gave it a 4.75.
What I said was straight hop juice that slowly turns into hop candy as you enjoy it. Soft and airy mouthfeel and body is higher side of medium.
Okay, yeah. It was. I just loved it, dude.
Honestly, man, with a bunch of the Fidens beers after we came home from Beer Tuberpalooza 2022, I really just drank them to drink them. I didn't really think too much about it. I was just like, yeah, you know, like there was a few like I wanted to review, but I ended up not reviewing. It's just. I'm glad we sat down and did this one, and we actually waited on it, and it turned out really nice. It's really a treat. It really is.
And not to say that this is going to happen every time, but like if I get a local, like I mentioned to you, there's at least 1, maybe 2 spots here that sometimes get local Fidens drops. If I see them and the beer's like 5-6 weeks old, I'm not even hesitate to buy it, like at all. Like I just be like, all right, fuck it, you know. This is it's really fucking good. And the thing about Fidens is. And I think you could speak to this to some degree. I get the hype now. The first batch when I got from Kyle, they were all good. I gave them like between a 4.25 and a 4.5.
Right.
But none of them really stood out to me as like, oh man, these are so substantially better than everything else out there. Like we talk about other half shelfies and whatnot. And I'm with you. Like other half makes great hop forward beers.
Right.
But now with this last batch we got, I get like a couple of the beers like this, the Impulse, and like one other beer. Like I get the hype because those were like top tier. Yeah, this is setting a standard type of thing. But with Fidens, you're going to have probably some misses like any other brewery, like some beers that just don't do it for you, you know? And I feel like if you're somebody who wants to buy into hype, but you get like the wrong batch of beers, or maybe you get a couple and they just aren't the ones that are for you, you might think somewhat negatively or don't think they justify the hype. But now having about 15 different beers from them, I would say the hype's justified. Are they substantially better, or are they even better than someone like Other Half? You being an Other Half junkie, me being an Other Half junkie, I would say not really. Like they're in the same realm.
Right.
All depends on what you like. We love like the oat cream Other Half, so those will always be our jam. I still think triples from Other Half are top tier compared to other breweries. But it's fun. It's fun seeing different breweries' takes on, you know, different hop combos and just beers. Like, I'm not sure I've had another half that tastes exactly like this, you know?
Yeah, I mean,
man, so fun. It's so fucking. Listen, I just took that last sip, right? And I only got a little bit left, but what hit me was like candied orange and like candied tangerine. Now it's turned from juice to like a candy, but like you said, there's enough dryness, bitterness still to balance it out.
Yeah.
It's so fucking
oh yeah, baby. We're going all the way. We're going all the way with this one.
Oh yeah, we're drinking this one.
This is even an episode of This is even an episode of As Beer Swirls. It's gonna be the Fidens vlog. You know, story time with Fidens and Joe and Dan.
I'm down. Yeah. We should try to do this like once a month if you're down.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
pick a beer that we want. Yeah,
Mike loved it.
Yeah, have Mike join in. We just fucking sit down, review the beer, but then it evolves into a conversation. I'm fucking down, dude. That's cool.
Man, I'm telling you, seriously, this is. As soon as I take this last sip, I'm just gonna sit there. I'm just gonna like think about life for a minute. I'm just gonna be like, damn, that was a good IPA.
It's crazy how like we're not sitting here for like 2 hours and having this like crazy, but like I'm starting to get Tanner, East Coast. I want to say I was gonna be like, oh, East Coast instead of LQ, but East Coast LQ reviews. I noticed one thing from Tanner that he likes to say a lot of times in doing style IPAs, he likes to say orange creamsicle a lot. He likes that orange creamsicle, baby.
Yeah.
But I'm starting to get a little orange creamsicle here. Like it feel like I know there's no vanilla or anything in here, but I'm starting to get like a little bit of like a vanilla kind of tinge to it. So like that orange is starting to turn into like a little bit of an orange creamsicle.
It's that confectionery kind of thing.
Yep. Yeah, you talked about that.
You know what word Tanner dropped today, Joe? And it was sort of your word, but he kind of did his own spin. Tangelo. I'm
gonna fucking fight that, man. You cannot take. Did he say it like me, Tangelo, or did he say Tangelo?
No, he said Tangelo.
Okay, I'll allow it. I don't know which one is correct. Technically, probably both are. But the fact that any other person would bring up Tangelo, he's got my heart. No, it's not completely in order, but he's got my heart because Tangelos are delicious. And I will say this: if anybody's with us, post in the comment section of this vlog on the FLX channel. Have you ever had a Tangelo? Have you? Because they're fucking delicious. I don't say it to say they are so delicious and juicy. It's unbelievable.
I'll know who watches this because I just post one word and down the comments. Tangelo.
Yeah, Tangelo. I can see Tanner's going to be fucking watching this while he squirrels.
The only comment we're going to get right now is Bumpy.
Yeah. Bumpy's like, I try to watch everybody's review, but this was a little difficult at 48 minutes long. You know, what are you guys doing to me? Did you do last sip?
I did do last sip. Hold on. Let's see if I'll do the inner ridge here. I'll just kind of shake it up and
Well, shake it up. All right, hang on. I got to do the same thing. You can't. Oh, Jesus. There's a little bit.
I got like a little minuscule sip out of it.
Mine was spewing everywhere.
Oh, jeez. All right.
One last sip. Cheers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was real good.
Fantastic.
Yep.
And with that, my friends, that was an episode of something. I don't know.
Get fucked nerds.
Get fucked nerds.
Get fucked nerds with Dan and Joe. Where all the nerds get fucked.
Stupid selfie thumbnail. Whatever.
Yeah, whatever, guys. We go to town.